Okay, Techmath2. We're lecturing out of the Red Book. We're doing chapter 9. We're going to work on the inverse tangents. So if you open up your book to page 395, we're starting on problem number 6. They ask for the cotangent of B. They ask for the cosecant of B. And they ask for the secant of B. So these are not arctangent, it's the inverse tangent. So that means how we did SOHCAHTOA. Here, let's draw up the pretty picture. There's the pretty picture that it comes with. There's our right angle, which makes this the hypotenuse. Here is little letter B, here is little letter M, and they have big letter B for the angle. So if we want the cotangent of angle B, the cosecant of angle B, and the secant of angle B, we're going to use SOHCAHTOA. And we're going to find the sine of B, the cosine of B, and the tangent of B first. After we find those, then we'll flip them around the other way to find this is the cosine flipped around, this is the sine flipped around, and this is the tangent flipped around. So let's find sine, cosine, and tangent of each one. So the sine, if this is our angle, is opposite over hypotenuse, so that is B over T, which means if we go to cosecant, those are the inverse functions, that would be T over B. So you flip-flop it around and do the reciprocal. So if you're a bad speller like me, cosine spelled backwards is secant, just the E and the O are different. So let's do the cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent M over hypotenuse T. And then if we want the secant, then that's going to be T over M. And then tangent of B is the opposite over the adjacent, the OA, opposite over adjacent. So B over M. And then if we flip-flap that around, that's M over B. And so cotangent, cosecant, and secant are all just called the inverse functions of sine, cosine, and tangent. So often we'll talk about the 6 trig functions from right triangle trig, and these would be the 6. All right? So now if you want to skip to number 11, it says use your calculator to determine the secant, 77 degrees, the cosecant of 230 degrees, and the cotangent of negative 112 degrees. And so what we can do is we can take the cosine of 77 and then take its inverse, take it to the negative 1 power. So if I wanted to key this into my calculator, I could do the cosine of 77 degrees, but then raise that to the negative 1 power. And what that'll do is take the reciprocal, basically. And so that's easier than going through all of the steps to actually find secant, cosecant, and cotangent on the calculator. I believe it's an angle. All right, so for number 11, when you type that into your calculator and then do it to the negative 1 power, we should get 4.4454. And for the cosecant, that is the sine flip-flopped around. So if we do the sine of, oh, you know what? I think you might need parentheses also on those. Otherwise, it might just do the inverse of 77. So let's do a parenthesis, the sine of 230, and they'll put one in there, and then end parenthesis, and then take the result to the negative 1 power. And so that'll be negative 1.3054. And then the last one, the cotangent of negative 112, that's going to be parenthesis tangent, and then we'll do negative 112 degrees. Make sure you're in degrees, not radians. And parenthesis raised to the power of the negative 1 power. And when you hit enter, that should be 0.4040. So that's 9.1. There's also something special about these when you compare them. If we take a quick look at 9.2, those are the two problems in 9.1. 9.2, just real quick look at those. We got like number 13. They point out on number 13 that when you take the tangent of an angle, of any angle, you could find that by dividing sine divided by cosine. And then, therefore, if I take the cotangent then, the cotangent of theta would just be the cosine theta divided by sine theta. And so that's a way that you can do those. Okay, so that should do it for 9.1 and 9.2. I will get this posted, and hopefully this will help you understand Chapter 9 a little better.